Well, thank you very much for the AI 5050 event, for the invitation. In this case, well, that's a technical glitch. It's okay. Things happen. It's all right. Basically, as you can see, this is about asking questions. And in this case, my lecture is going to be Beyond the Bot, Navigating the Human AI Frontier in Tomorrow's Workplace, which of course is going to be a series of questions and observations. And these questions, very important questions, okay, such as, for example, how come I am the only one wearing a tie? Okay, not the only one. Okay, all right. And for example, how come you are so tall? So those are the existential questions for me right now, believe me. So basically, thank you for the invitation. I'm going to start now. Observation. Several weeks ago, I was lecturing at a local university in southern Spain, and I said to the public that if a cell phone rang while I was speaking, it would be confiscated and sold to slavery. And guess what happened? A phone rang, and it was mine. So please use the phone as you wish. Okay, here are my signs for LinkedIn and X. Let us connect and let us network after this with questions and observations and so forth. So here's my first question for today. Who has watched this film, 1967, The Graduate, with Dustin Hoffman? Okay. All right, excellent. So 1967, California, the summer of love. All of you come into San Francisco, so forth. All right. Take that into account, please, when it says 1967 San Francisco, because of this film and because of what's about to happen. All right, so basically, I am going to show you a 1-minute clip of this film.
Ben.
Mr. McGuire.
Come with me for a minute. I want to talk to you. Excuse us, Joanne.
Of course.
Thank you.
Oh, he is such
He's
a
just my friend.
man.
I look at him and I can't believe it.
I know
I
it.
simply can't believe it.
I just want to say one word to you. Just one word.
Yes, sir.
Are you listening?
Yes, I am.
Plastics.
Exactly.
Exactly. How do you
So
know?
as you can see, Mr.
It's a great future
McGuire
in
takes
plastics.
Benjamin Braddock
Think
outside
about it.
and aside
What do you think
and
about
it? Yes, sir.
tells him about the
Enough
word
said.
of the
That's a
future.
deal.
And as he said that the word of the future is plastics. Remember, this is 1967. The summer of love, California, San Francisco, the hippie revolution, a whole paradigm shift. So here's the problem with the word that Mr. McGuire says to Benjamin. Was it the right word? I mean, back in the 60s, Intel was filing the first technological patents on semiconductors and microchips and so forth. All right, so it was not, it was, it wasn't the right word. The word of the future in reality was silicon. As you can see, that was a big mistake. So you have to ask yourself, so what is the, when you ask, because you're founders here and you're representing startups and you're even VCs here and investors, what is the word of the future nowadays if you were Benjamin Braddock? What should we tell you? Well, that's the word of the future. Data, right? That's how we feed AI and so forth. Well, that's data, isn't it? Is it data the word of the future? Okay, so we shall see. So first of all, let me introduce you to my research team I am a member of in this case. is the google.org OdiseIA Digital Futures Project, subgroup 2.1. We're dedicated to the professions of the future, and these are my colleagues and team members. All right, and then of course you have it on the presentation as PDF, of course, and then you have a link to all the material from not only from our research group to all different groups that we have, 12 others as a matter of fact. So it is available for the public display, and they are in English as well. So basically what I have done is the first deliverable we had as a project, as a subgroup in this case. I have taken that into three main criteria that you can see as: number one, ethical AI as a catalyst for business innovation trust; number two, the transformation of the labor landscape; and number three, the imperative of ethical governance in AI. So using these three criteria, I have divided the results of our research so we can comment on them, and then on the different color you will see other graphs and more information, and especially in statistical data. Okay, that's because I used on the side I used some of the sources we're using, because we will cross-reference this information and that information as well. So basically, the first criteria, ethical AI as a catalyst for business innovation trust. These are some of the findings. In this case, this document suggests some things that we already know. AI is already transforming business across multiple sectors with a varying degrees of impact. The trust in AI systems will be fundamental for business innovation, of course. And for businesses to innovate successfully with AI, they must establish ethical AI practices and implementation that balances efficiency and gains with human value creation. Okay, human value creation. Let us say, for example, take a look at the third piece of information. Marketing, 7 out of 10 impact, has experienced radical changes through algorithmic-driven programmatic advertising, where audience targeting has replaced traditional media. This is a big thing, for example, for this huge industry that used to be called call centers, as you probably remember. Well, and then you see for this criteria, for example, we have all these side information from sources. So, for example, let me show you from there is the basically the no adoption is these 12%, these sources. You'll have them at the end of the presentation. It shows basically that 12% of startups are not implementing AI in any way, nor are adopting it. And that is quite a revealing piece of information. You would not say that 12% of startups, this is basically in the countries in the OECD area, okay, that they would not be doing such a thing. Though it is just about crazy. Criteria number two, the transformation of the labor landscape. Here's some of the takeaways from our initial research. Basically, that these comprehensive insights into how AI is reshaping the labor market. And this transformation isn't simply about job elimination, but it is rather a redefinition of work value, requiring workers to develop complementary skills like critical thinking and creativity. Still, there is some more info and some more insights, because it's not only about creativity and critical thinking. Okay, so let's say, for example, the third paragraph, legal services, 5 out of 10 are experiencing automation or routine document analysis and generation, with real examples of AI replacing basic legal work. Replacing, it says. Okay. It was quite the call to interview these directors of legal departments, for example. It was quite a shocker, and of course this information will change over time, and probably not as much, but it will change over time. One of the things we also discovered was that more than likely we are all reading the same literature when it comes to AI disruption, and that is not a good thing, I must say. Later on, when we network, okay, we can discuss several sources as well. Thank you. All right, and the next is the skills challenge. In case of, you have to take into account education, of course, and there is a skills challenge and a skills gap. All right, take a look at that first piece of information. 42% lack skills on basic digital proficiency, which is a very dangerous gap. 42%. That's way too high. If we're talking about reskilling and upskilling the workforce, 42% is just amazing. And that is something that should be addressed as a public emergency, I have to say. And from there, the transformation of knowledge work, okay, that's more than likely the work we all do here. Knowledge work, in which, for example, there is a 40% significant transformation coming to our own sectors, which you would say that all this manual labor, no, it's not the manual labor, but the knowledge workers like we are. We need to be reskilling and upskilling probably the rest of our terrenal life. Okay. And then also, this is very important here. Look, shift in employment landscape. These sources tell us 68% of Europeans fear job losses, especially in Portugal and Spain. That is significant because basically they are Portugal and Spain being tourist destinations. They are basically in the services field. And that was a surprise, because you would say, well, tourists will always be there. Is that the case? Well, that is a very good question to ask. And of course, that 30% of working hours will be automated across Europe by 2030. Amazing numbers. Okay, so we have the evolving worker sentiments. And one thing here is that, for example, in productivity recognition, 73% agree that AI speeds up tasks whenever it is properly deployed. That must be said. It is not happening at all. It takes some time until it is correctly deployed. Okay. The third criteria. Excuse me. The third criteria is the imperative of ethical governance in AI. AI ethics, everything that we have heard so far about AI ethics, we at OdiseIA, for example, we are dedicated basically to the social impact, the social and ethical impact of artificial intelligence. But there are questions that remain here. We're not going to get to that point yet. Not yet, okay? But we'll get there eventually. So basically, now take a look at this. These are the observations from this first deliverable. Not the second deliverable, but the first deliverable. And basically this governance consideration that will be essential as adoption accelerates. It is accelerating. Ethical governance, in this case, must balance the innovation with the protection of human dignity and work value. That's not easy. Ensuring AI serves as a complement to human capabilities rather than a wholesale replacement. Again, the experts that we have been interviewing for a number of months coincide on that specific point. So, for example, that the second point here, the second bullet point, is the clear emphasis on the need for training and retraining to mitigate this vulnerability for workers whose functions can be more efficiently performed by AI. There is a word here that is key to our research, and it is key for our funding by google.org, because we are basically studying the impact on vulnerable groups. And what AI has, the disruption of AI has done, is that it has created new vulnerable groups. Like, for example, like Yuval Noah Harari has been talking about for some times, this phenomena called the unemployable. That's one of them, basically. As people that cannot be re-employed because, as we said before, it lacks the basic skills. Basic skills when it comes to computing, when it comes to basically know the basics of how to operate a computer. I mean, digital competencies, basically. They're not familiar with that, and probably we need to do a better job of training and retraining these people, especially those in the entering just about the silver economy, ages 50 plus. And then for this future job creation, that's really a forecast. But based on the sources we have been checking, all right, take a look at this. That second point is this: transformed skills, traditional methods being reimagined. In some sectors, what could potentially happen is, let me give you a couple of examples. How many of you have roundtables, listens to music on roundtables? Yeah, roundtables, so vintage. Okay, all right. Okay, just one? Just one. All right. Out of how many? 40 people here. Okay. So basically a round table. Do you remember those 33 revolutions, long play disc and so forth? All right. Beautiful. The sound was wonderful. Okay. So how much does it cost? A round table right now, an LP, how much does it cost? Right, they are expensive. Okay, so let me give you another example. There was an 80s Spanish punk rock band called Los Hombres G. Okay, they are releasing a remake of their chart toppers from the 80s, of course, and they are doing that on cassette tapes. How many are going to? They are going to sell a lot. Why? It is vintage. These products and these formats return as a premium, and that's one of the things we could be looking at and could observe in the near future. Like, for example, a taxi cab being driven by a human being. Listen, I don't want an autonomous car. I want some fella or some lady driving this car that I can discuss. The game last night, for example, or what did you do last month, or where did you go on vacation, anything of the sort. Okay. So basically, another observation from the sources on this third criteria is the diversity in development, AI development. Take a look at that. It's basically 26.3% of women in AI. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I participated. I went as a member of the public, just about. Went to an event by Women in AI in the city of Alicante, where I live in southern Spain. And that Women in AI's first event in Spain was held in Alicante. So I went there. All right. A wonderful, wonderful organization, driven and managed by women, as they want to inspire young girls and young ladies to go into the STEM professions. And I said something, I'm going to repeat something that I said before, and I said back then, it is imperative that basically, women go into AI. You know why? Okay. Neurochemistry. Your neurochemistry is unique, and the information processing that your neurochemistry can have is very important and is very creative. So there you go. That's one of them. All right. So basically, for example, the critical imbalance in the AI talent pool is 20.1%. That's a big one. All right. And the next, I'm sorry, it's okay. Yes. Well, yes. So, sorry about that. So basically, there you have the research sources. Okay, you will have it on the PDF document at the end, and of course the AI 5050 folks and Rian will facilitate that via email. Okay, so basically, here we go. About this third criteria that I used for our deliverable from Group 2.1 to Professional of the Futures at the google.org OdiseIA Digital Futures Project. All right. What happens is, it's just a personal note. Let me ask you a question. Who knows what AI is? Can you define AI? Right. Just define AI, for example. Okay, now that's okay. You can raise your hand now. We can just talk. We can talk outside. It's okay. Well, let me have this. Let me propose and put forward to you the following info. Okay. AI is no longer about technology. AI is downright political economy nowadays. Okay. AI is not to be considered a set of technologies simulating human neuroplasticity. It's not the case. It's not the case because if we go back in time to Norbert Wiener and Marvin Minsky and John McCarthy and John von Neumann and I don't know, Alan Turing and so forth, if we go back, Colin Pitts, beginning of the 40s, last century, if we go back to them, they would have, and they did, define artificial intelligence, not the term as such, but what it meant more correctly than we are doing right now. Okay? And with this, I want to say that AI is an ecosystem. It's the emergent property of an ecosystem of machine learning applications. What I am saying right now, and this is a key idea to understand this human AI workplace dynamics, which is what this lecture is all about, is what could potentially be these human AI workplace dynamics. Basically, in an increasing world of no code, low code, prosumers, as Alvin Toffler calls us. Okay, what's the result? How is it going to look like? Oh, and what about this? Because we're talking about governance and so forth. How are we going to govern and regulate, especially here in the European Union, something that we don't know how to define, or we are not defining correctly, or that our basically our line of thought, our system of thought, is deeply flawed. I want to put forward that for you, because it changes everything, and it changes, of course, it changes the relationship. The founders and startups here, for example, it changes the very core of what you are trying to achieve if you only change your perspective. I'll leave that, and we'll talk it outside. That's fine. So basically, again, Benjamin and Mr. McGuire. All right. So we started this talk, this short talk, about the word being told and advised to Benjamin Braddock by Mr. McGuire. Data, I said at the beginning, right? Well, guess what? No, it is not one word. It's two words, not one. Oh, and by the way, because it is a graduate, okay, but by the way, those of you who have watched the film, it is not Simon and Garfunkel. And no, it is not, yeah, exactly. It is not Mr. McGuire. And it is not 5-star, although all of you are going to rate me 5 stars, so I'll be back next year. All right? Basically, but it's about two words. And let me share this with you. Here it is. Those are the two words, because it is not about data itself, raw data, okay? It's about reinforcement learning. And what is that? Well, it's the machine learning process where an agent, the agentic AI that we are all witnessing right now, is a complete, let's call it a revolution as such, learns to make decisions. So we're not talking about just databases and SQL servers and so forth. We're talking about an emergent property of this machine learning ecosystem composed of millions of machines, per se, into reasoning, or what we call reasoning, and one of these days at the human level. So, here on my signs, this is my email address, and you can locate me, of course, on X and LinkedIn. Let us network. Let us talk about this and be a continued conversation, because the more we infer and speculate upon it, the more we're going to learn. And the game here is that basically, by changing the perspective, we understand better these human AI workplace dynamics and how to navigate this human AI frontier in tomorrow's workplace. With that, I'll leave it. This is the link for the OdiseIA.org project. Our material is freely available. Okay, it's also in English, of course. With the ones of you who actually speak Spanish, so I know, yes. Okay, you can download that as well.